The sound of fire crackling outside woke me before the alarm did. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming, until I saw the orange flicker through the blinds. The smell hit next. Plastic, oil, paint, my car burning in the driveway. She stood there, barefoot on the curb, robe slightly open, her phone screen glowing against her face. Filming. When I rushed out, she didn't flinch, just turned her head lazily, her voice calm, almost bored. "Insurance will cover it," she said. "Besides, it's old." Old? 3 years old? The same car I drove every morning at 6:30 a.m. The same one I used to drive her to the airport, to restaurants, to her yoga retreats. Now it burned, because I wasn't supposed to use it. "Stay home and take care of the kids," she added. "That's what poor husbands do. I'm going to relax." The words hit colder than the night air. I didn't respond. Didn't even look at her as she got into a sleek black sedan that waited at the corner. She laughed when she saw me watching, that quiet, cruel laugh that always meant she thought she'd won. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly imagine, was that just 12 hours earlier, my company had been acquired. $2.3 billion. And I was no longer the poor husband she believed I was. She'd been growing bolder for months. Trips that didn't make sense. Late-night messages disguised as work emails. Perfume that wasn't hers. When she came home that night, smelling of someone else's cologne, I said nothing, just sat there at the table, scrolling through acquisition documents, her laughter echoing from the shower. She thought silence meant weakness. She never understood it was strategy. The next morning, she left again, said she was meeting a client. I watched her car drive off, a suitcase in the back seat. I waited 2 minutes, then opened her drawer. Her passport, gone. The tickets were still on the printer. Round trip, Maldives. 2 seats. Same last name used twice. She'd booked the trip under Mr. and Mrs. Harper. Her maiden name. Her lover's name. When I saw it, my pulse didn't even rise. It was as if I had been expecting it all along, waiting for the final piece to confirm what the quiet between us had been whispering for years. That I'd married a ghost in a woman's skin. I spent the next 2 days in silence. She believed I was working on the merger. She had no idea the company emails I sent weren't to my lawyers, but to private investigators. Phone records, hotel bookings, flight manifests. It didn't take long. By the second evening, I had enough data to map her affair in detail. Every dinner, every hotel, every lie. And yet, I didn't confront her. I wanted her to think she was still safe, still smarter than me, still in control. That night, she called from a resort balcony, the sound of waves behind her, laughter beside her. "I'm thinking of staying a few extra days," she said. "You'll manage, right? That's what stay-at-home husbands do." "Sure," I replied, my voice steady. "I'll manage." She hung up before I could finish. That same night, I logged into my bank accounts and transferred every asset under my name. Stocks, liquid cash, offshore accounts. Then I emptied the joint account she'd been quietly bleeding for months. By the time she landed back home, the balance was 0. She came back glowing. Tan lines, designer bags, a new phone. She didn't even notice my packed suitcase by the stairs. Didn't ask why I was dressed like I was leaving. "Where are you going?" she asked finally, sipping wine, scrolling through her messages. "Just handling something," I said. I placed an envelope on the counter. Inside, photos of her and him, receipts, copies of her messages. Her face went pale. "Where did you get these?" Her voice cracked on the last word. I didn't answer, just looked at her. The silence stretched between us, sharp and suffocating. Then I said, "I knew before the fire." She blinked, confused. "The car. You knew?" "I knew everything," I said quietly. I just waited. The color drained from her face. She realized then that the man she mocked, the husband she dismissed, had been watching all along. I walked past her to the bedroom, folded my last shirt, zipped the suitcase. "You can't just leave," she said, her voice trembling. "What about the kids?" "They're with my sister," I said flatly. "Safe." She stepped closer. "You can't take them from me." I turned to her, eyes cold. "They're not coming with me, but neither are you." She frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, pausing long enough for her to feel the weight of it, "that everything you built on my name, this house, those cards, the cars, they're gone. Acquired. Just like my company." She shook her head. "You're lying." I handed her another envelope. Bank documents, title transfers, court orders. Every line stripped her of access, power, control. I didn't yell, didn't gloat. I simply watched her crumble as she realized the empire she'd mocked had quietly absorbed her world. Her hands trembled. "Why would you do this?" she whispered. I met her eyes. "Because you set the wrong thing on fire." I left at dawn. No note, no goodbye. The house looked smaller in the rearview mirror, almost peaceful in its emptiness. As I drove, I thought of the flames that night, the way they danced, the way she smiled, thinking she was free. Fire always consumes the one closest to it. By the time she woke up, every account, every property, every tie she had to my name was gone. Her car was missing, the locks changed, her phone disconnected. All she had left were ashes, and the quiet realization that I'd stopped being hers long before the fire. I didn't look back. Some stories don't end with revenge. They end with silence. And silence is the loudest goodbye there is.